Thank you so much, Julie. It's always such a pleasure to hear you read. Next up tonight, or this afternoon, we have Drea Brown. Drea Brown's work has appeared in a variety of literary journals and anthologies, such as Southern Indiana Review and Stand Our Ground, Poems for Trayvon Martin and Marissa Alexander. She is a Cave Canem Fellow and the winner of the 2014 Gold Line Chapbook Contest. Her chapbook, Dear Girl, A Reckoning, was published in 2015. Drea is currently a PhD candidate in African and African Diaspora Studies at UT Austin. Drea.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello. Thanks for being here on a Sunday, and thank you, Ginny, for inviting me to be here with you. How shall we do this? So I'm going to read from Dear Girl, and it's an interesting world inside this book. So I think I'm going to talk a little bit and then read a little bit. Yeah? So I'll tell you, so I'm finishing my PhD, and my work looks at haunting in Black women's poetry. And throughout my project, I go through and I pull out the ghosts and say what they are. But I came here to work on Harlem Renaissance literature. This is not the project I thought I would end up with. And then Dear Girl happened, and everything shifted. So as I'm finishing up this process, it makes sense for me to come back to the first ghost that really drew me in. So Dear Girl looks at the poet Phyllis Wheatley, who's the first African-American poet to publish a volume of poetry while enslaved. So her biography is super short, so I'm going to say it all. So she was born around 1753, 1754, and forcibly crossed the Atlantic through the triangular trade around 1761. So she got to Boston, Massachusetts, 1761, and was purchased by John Wheatley for a gift for his wife, Susanna. So the rest of the story comes briefly and quickly. Phyllis was a prodigy. She excelled in the classics, in Latin, and by 11 had written her first poem. By 14 had published her first poem. By 16 garnered international acclaim, and by 19 was traveling again across the Atlantic to England to publish poems on various subjects, religious and moral. She was manumitted or given her freedom in 1778, and in 1784, when she was 31, she passed. And in between that time, she bore 3 children, none of which lived to see one. And she was rarely published after that, maybe one poem, right? So a brief and wondrous and mysterious and intriguing life. Are you not intrigued already by Phyllis? So there's so much to go from there. But what Dear Girl looks at, Dear Girl reimagines the girl who would become Phyllis Wheatley's journey in Middle Passage. So often that biography skips to that. She was brought to Boston in 1761, and the story starts there. But this book says that it doesn't. Right? So it begins with a note to the reader, so I'll shift my language a little bit. If you are listening, believe me when I tell you I am haunted by marvelous horrors of a past not past. Tenebrous and fleshly, thunderous things. Don't you believe in ghosts? This lineage of banshees and wailers haints tongue-snatched or conch-eared, manacled neck, overboard or below deck, thick in blood memory. Inherited apparitions. Some come to stay a while. Here is the reckoning. Believe me, listener, the dead will have their due. Dream in which the girl takes shape. Eyes become eyes in the dark. A body begins, silhouettes against moon skin, smaller than I imagined. Fine-lined frame, one thin arm reaches out, raises a briny finger, points as though I am accused, or something she chooses. You. How to explain the mark this left? Indelible memory, finger poised like drying ink. I put all these markers in my book of everything I wanted to read to you. I was like, but they should know this and this. we'll see what actually happens. You should get the book. It's over there with Ginny. Begin again. Here where water funnels and pearls against slaver bows, swirls over sharks' patient teeth. Here or there where bodies are force-fit into cargo and coffin space. Begin with Cowrie, with trade, with Gold Coast, gory, bite of Benin. Begin and do not, cannot go back. Say coffle, noose neck, babble, branding by fire iron, livestock, severed, forgotten, no more. This next poem does a few things. It's a bop. A bop is a form created in 1997 by Afa Michael Weaver at Cave Canem. So it's an African-American form. 3 different sections. It's 6 lines, and then there's a refrain that happens. It's generally taken from a spiritual or a prayer or something like that. So 6 lines, this refrain, 8 lines, the refrain, 6 lines. It's a really nice, as you can tell by the way I keep doing it, it's a really nice so this is a bop, but it also comes in another form as well. Dear Girl looks a lot toward African cosmologies or other forms of the sacred and the spiritual. And so you may hear me mention a few orishas, which are perhaps the most likening is to like a guardian angel of sorts. So there's Yemaya, who you'll hear in a couple of poems, who's kind of like this mother deity that's in the oceans and the water, and it's all about nurturing and survival and saving her children. So if you hear her, you know where she fits. Bop, passage and simile. Like when a body cannot see itself beginning again anywhere but in billows of sea foam, shards of sea glass, lashing obsidian, troubled flesh, so it, he, she, they jump into waves and waves on waves. Like mothers whose spaces become indigo ripples, jade and turquoise beneath laps, leaps and splashes, shoveling ocean into mouths like mashed yam, spools of tide and salt, like Olokun reaching past coral mausoleums toward Yemaya's skirts, and waves devolving, blues and breath and sea ash, glittering hymns, minuscule shells rattling currents like handfuls of molars or bone, like moon, waxing gibbous, luminous witness, heavy-eyed, hanged in grief, and waves on waves, devolving without end. What I should have told you is that that refrain comes from Phyllis Wheatley's poem, Ocean. I'm gonna read 3 more. That's okay. Is that okay? Mm-hmm. Are we good? Are you in this interesting world? This is another thing, right? This piece is called For Days and Days. And for days and days. All these bodies, gleaming flesh, mute muscle, locked ankles, all this filth, this pus, this blood, this black, this whale, this one dies. 240 days, this deck, this dance, this girl, she would not eat, this black, these bodies that lash, her back split open and she died, and another, and another, and another gave birth to blood, and more blood, and she died, and another, and I think, what is my name? 240 days and there is no air down here, just dark and stench and vomit, and sometimes one girl holds her breath. She draws the ocean on my back, waves and fish, and one day she jumps, a feast for sharks who thrash, and we dance and scrub what is left, this fat belly of wood, this world, and where we going, this black below. And one night after music, the landsman come. He checked the chains, he let mine loose, these wrists, this raw, my legs stumble on deck, and it is too dark to dance. This night, this moon, this man give me sugar, no horse bean, no mash, this man give me sugar, and I watch the moon, and his hands, and these bodies, and this dark, and his hands, and this sweet, this night, this blue, blue, this black blue, this moon, this sugar is the color of moon. And this land floats in his hands, and one day I will become the moon. 240 days and I get tongue burn and sour teeth. I don't die, but somebody do, and she become a bird, then splash. And all these bodies, all this sun, this 240 days, and another, and another, and another. And one night, when my mouth stinging sweet, I see my mama underwater, and I think the moon. I watch her smile turn black and blue eye wink, watch she grow a tail and glow, cause my mama is the sea, and I think 240 days, and I think my mama is the sea, and I want to be the moon or a pearl or breathe underwater. There is no air here, just we sick and die and moan, and more bodies turn into birds and fish and free, and my mama is the sea, and where we, how many days now? Reader, this is my hope, that in voyage across churning waters, in the filth and forgotten self, there are moments of warmth and benevolence, bodies connected beyond flesh, if only for 240 days, restored a sense of self and life and mercy. A moment, reader, allow me to reach further into the water, to find something akin to this, to salvation. These things, I believe. This next poem is called Mercy Visits the Schooner Phyllis, and I'm gonna do one more and I'm done. Phyllis Wheatley's most infamous, most anthologized poem is called On Being Brought from Africa to America. And one of the first lines is, "'Twas mercy brought me from my pagan land." And I think most people read that as mercy brought me from Africa. It's how it's generally critiqued. And I argue, I've been writing too long, and I think, what if the pagan land is not so much Africa, but if it is this floating world, the slave ship? It's a poem about being brought. And so, if we can think the pagan land is something else, then what about mercy? What if mercy is also something more than we may think? Mercy visits the schooner Phyllis. Had I come another time, girl, you would already be gone. Stored above tobacco and casks of rum, one body another, rows of ashen marrow fastened with pox, you are already a miracle. For now, I am all the body needed to keep you breathing. Thunderheads and pearl, shimmer and tail flick, bone taster, salt sting, blood iridescent. Remember me as dream. In one, you were born with shells in your mouth. In another, you are a fish bathed indigo and myrrh. I water your tongue, teach it to master itself. You will wake, bridled and born again. Nothing will be your own. They will claim and call you many things. Remember, you are a miracle. Fix your lips like this, girl. Say it. I said one more, but that's just such a damn good one. So I'm gonna end there. Thank you very much.